Even before this new law, it was difficult to get an abortion in Texas. The state is nearly 270,000 square miles, but Planned Parenthood only had 11 clinics there.
In Texas, it's often a several-week wait before you can get your first appointment just because of the already limited number of health centers that provide this care.
People will now have to drive an average of nearly 250 miles to get an abortion, likely out of state, according to the Guttmacher Institute. The cost of gas alone for the trip would take 3 hours to earn at minimum wage, and that's just one way.
And they look at us and say, how am I supposed to do that? How am I supposed to travel? How am I going to get there? I can't do that. You have to help me. And there's nothing that we can do to help them, unfortunately.
The number of women who now qualify for abortions will likely plummet. A 2018 survey showed that of 600 people seeking abortion, only 16% were less than 6 weeks into pregnancy by the time of their abortion appointment. But Dr. Kumar says demand is high.
Tuesday, before Senate Bill 8 went into effect, I saw close to 60 patients. Just for comparison, today, I'm only seeing 3 patients that qualify for an abortion in Texas. So the rest of the patients that we typically would see are going to be referred out of state.
But many of Texas's neighbors also have tough abortion restrictions. Louisiana requires ultrasounds 24 hours before an abortion procedure. Oklahoma has a similar rule and also forces patients to get state-directed counseling 72 hours before the procedure can occur.
In Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Kansas, they all have their own state restrictions. It is not a situation in any of our region where you can just make a decision and go quickly or even the same day to get that care. You have to plan ahead. And of course, for patients from Texas, that also means planning travel, planning childcare, taking time off of work.
The fear and confusion is palpable for many patients.
Patients have been asking if abortion is still legal for months. Ever since this law was signed by the Governor Abbott in May, people in the state of Texas have been confused and afraid. Worried that they may have already lost their right to an abortion. So we've been fielding lots of phone calls from patients for months now.
But for anti-abortion rights activists, the new law achieves the goal, making abortions harder to get.
Right now, the Texas Heartbeat Act is in effect. And so this is a historic moment. This is the first time we've seen this happen. This is a great law that is going to save many lives here in the great state of Texas.
Anti-abortion advocates have been clear about seeking to replicate the Texas law in other states. This is not the final word on Texas's law. A challenge to it is still pending in the lower courts. But in the meantime, hurdles for people who want abortions in Texas just got much higher.